go ahead and call to order the Tuesday. Of course, I also have an error at the top of my agenda, but the Tuesday, April 22nd meeting of the Community Improvement Corporation. So you can make that correction. Sorry. Go ahead and call to order the meeting. If we could have a roll call by the secretary, please.
Jonathan Stuchel.
Present.
Tom Ralston.
Here.
Bob Culbertson.
Here.
Chris Schulmeyer's here. Joe Brickler.
Here.
Peggy Brickwig.
Here.
Ray Culbertson.
Present.
Jeff Edwards.
Here.
Ali Palmer.
Here.
Chris Sauer.
Here.
Amy Yosmali.
Here.
Meredith Hughes.
Here.
Taylor Vogt.
Here.
Tim Wordman's not here.
Yeah, we'll change that. So. All right. As far as the minutes, we have very detailed. We have the transcript and the minutes, so we have pretty much everything that was stated throughout the entire meeting, all time-stamped. So at this point, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Are there any corrections?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Motion made by Jeff Edwards, seconded by Joe Brickler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. As far as treasurer's report,
Yep. The bank balance as of today is $176,243.52. First State Bank is still open, and the balance there is $5,328.87. I'll plan on closing that here in the next week, and moving those funds into the Fifth Third account. That concludes my report.
okay. As far as next item, demolition schedule, Chris, by chance, have you heard back from Scott from O'Rourke as of yet?
I actually did just today at about 5 o'clock. He said that they reviewed the upcoming demolition with their operations team, and they plan on starting in 2 weeks. He just wanted to double check on the utilities.
As far as, I will follow up on the utilities. Tim Wordman had started that process, and I have email communication. I don't believe that the power is actually off yet, but I believe from what I read via email was that Duke was actually handling whatever needs to be done as far as transformers or anything that they can do in advance of actually having to be contacted by O'Rourke. They were starting some of the preliminary work, so I'll try to verify that and get an answer, so I can talk to Tim Williams tomorrow and see if he can reach out to his contact from Duke to see where they are, and then I'll verify with Waterworks and hopefully have that tap shut down. So
I got a question. Are we talking about just the bank building?
primarily, yes. The other building, the utilities are gonna be actually, because of the partial demolition, so that actually will be, there'll be certain portions that'll be capped, yes, but part of that building will remain for right this moment. So as far as just an update, we still have not made additional progress with ACE at this point. So ultimately, we don't really have an option right this second, other than to do the more intricate demolition where by hand, where the separation from Dollar General and ACE would happen, and then the capping off of utilities and the remaining portion of the strip mall would be demolished. But that will at least allow us to move forward with our project, but we can still work on whatever might need to be done for now. But we're not gonna then exhaust our time frame that we have been established by Hamilton County to have this done by August. So at least we can move on it. So, yes. One other item, if no one has other questions regarding the demolition, that kind of goes hand in hand with this, because this is actually going to be done in 2 weeks. I'm just gonna skip an item here on the sale of property, because
Mr. President, it's gonna be started in 2 weeks.
started in started in 2 weeks, yes. So that, there's actually items that still have to be removed from the building. Historical Society has already identified filing cabinets that they need, so that's not a problem. There's several filing cabinets that could be repurposed in City Hall, just, some other various office supplies. But as far as that still leaves other remaining filing cabinets, some, that appear to and feel like they're, weighted with concrete. I don't personally want to move, but someone may have a desire. Whether or not there's any benefit to us trying to organize any kind of a, community sale, anyone want to come and make an offer, take it out, or they can have it as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's items there, these massive desks, I can't imagine anyone disassembling anything, but, we could at least make an offer if somebody wanted something. Anyone have a thought on that?
I checked like with auction places and stuff, and they said they didn't want to fool with it. Nobody buys desk and stuff used, like a company will buy brand new ones. And will they demo it with that stuff in there? Because there's a safe in the wall and there's a big one in the thing.
That's what would happen.
Well, I mean, yeah, nobody's gonna go in and pick them desk up. I mean,
Point being is that whether or not if we wanted to give a couple hour period or whatever on a weekend, if someone wanted to come and look at some, I don't know, it's just a thought.
we've talked about this like for a year and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, this has come up a couple of times, and I haven't heard any interest on
And then you got a
the remaining
liability if
items.
they hurt themselves coming out with a desk or something, and I say demo it.
All right, it was worth a shot. So we'll remove the filing cabinets that are gonna be repurposed, but as far as anything else, really, it's just about it, because again, the other filing cabinets that I spoke of are almost too heavy to move. So we'll just leave it at that. I do need, of course, here in a few minutes, I'm gonna ask for a motion to go into executive session for the sale of property, but that really kind of fast tracks us into open discussion and additional agenda items. As far as I do have one item myself before we open up to the rest of the board, before the general public. Meredith, in the last meeting, we actually discussed the retention of counsel for petitioning to the Lee County Auditor, and I wanted to double check on that, if there's anything further that we need to do.
There is nothing further we need to do. The appeal was submitted to the Hamilton County Auditor. The appraisal is expected back middle of May-ish, and I will get the board a copy of that at the end of May. The school board did file a counter complaint for the current auditor's value. So we said it was worth, I think we applied for like 500 or 600,000, because that's what the appraiser said based on the circumstances. That's what the building would be worth. So the school board did counter for the full 2.1 million. So once the appraisal comes back, that will get submitted to the county. A hearing date will be scheduled. The attorney we hired, the appraiser, probably somebody from the school board or their counsel will all show up and come to a new number or pick our number or pick their numbers. It's kind of in the county's discretion.
Will that be a single date, as far as there'll only be the one hearing and you'll walk out of that? Or is there any kind of continuance if neither party can agree, or do they force a decision?
I think it's less of a mediation and more of an opportunity to argue your case. So my understanding of the process is you're going to show up, tell them why you think you're right, or why we think we're right, and why the appraiser agrees with us or not, whatever his findings find. And then the board of revision at the county will make the decision. So it's not a function of us coming to terms with the school board. It's each side presenting their case for the valuation.
On the valuation, does it serve us any justice if they do it before or after the demo?
No, because the appeal is for the 2024 tax year. So we are asking for a reassessment for last year's taxes, with the ultimate result being a reduction in the tax amount that we paid. Because the half tax payment on the shopping center is, I think, 30 or 31,000 a half. So for a full year, it's 60 grand for a building that is not income producing. And
So
well, you've all seen it,
So
describe it.
with that excellent answer that you just gave, does that mean that we're gonna do this again after the building comes down?
No, we should not have to file a formal valuation appeal when there is no longer an improvement on the property. What may happen is, depending on when the demolition is completed, we may have to pay improvement value for 2025. So tax year 25, payable 26, will likely still include the improvement value. But that value will track the decision of the Board of Revision. So if the board reassesses the property to X dollar amount for 2024, we will get a reduction in our 2024 taxes, and then that value will carry forward to 2025, resulting in lower valuations for 2025 too.
I guess my question being is that if, when you speak of improvements being the structure itself, and if the structure is eliminated, we wouldn't want to have, you know, a petition again for them to reevaluate, because there is no, you know, yes, there'll be a very small structure left when it's done, but true improvement value would be non-existent.
I'm happy to confirm what the process is, but that's not a matter of appeal. We're not appealing evaluation. That would be an administrative update. So we shouldn't have to go through this appeal complaint, counter complaint, go to a hearing, have everybody argue. It should be a matter of going to the auditor. And again, it will likely happen in calendar year 25 it will reflect on the tax year 25, calendar year 26 tax bills. Because for most of tax year, or most of calendar year 25, the improvement will have been there. So no, we're not gonna have to fight them again.
All right, fabulous. As far as, does anyone else on the board have anything under open discussion or additional agenda items? Does anyone? Kelly? No? All right. So we're going to go through our normal drill. I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session. We'll excuse ourselves, but you're welcome to stay put because we do have something to vote on when we're done, and I don't expect our executive session portion to be very long. So at this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to go into an executive session for the sale of property. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Is there a motion to come out of executive session?
President Stuchel.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody's in favor? All right, so at this point, the last item that we have now is actually voting on the purchase and sale agreement with Civitas Development and the St. Bernard Community Improvement Corporation. So at this time, I'm gonna ask for a motion to put that on the table to approve the purchase and sale agreement as presented.
Stuchel.
Yes.
Tom Ralston.
Yes.
Bob Culbertson. Yes. Michelle Myers, yes. Joe Brickman. Yes. Peggy Brickley.
Yes.
Ray Culbertson.
Yes.
Jeff Edwards.
Yes.
Alec Walner. Chris Sauer.
Yes.
All right, perfect. One last thing before we ask for a motion to adjourn. I did pass out tonight, again, the related party and fraud questionnaire. If anyone did not complete this, as far as I do need this. So if you could at least complete that quickly before we leave tonight, because that does need to be submitted to our auditors. All right. At this point, do we have a motion to adjourn? And I show our next meeting on May 27th at 6 p.m.
Motion by Ulrichsen, all those in favor?
Aye.